Welcome back to Just History with your host Logan.
And Woo.
So last week we were talking about Xi Jinping and how his policies resembled, well, the actions of a turtle. Now we're going to look into what are his tiger policies, Woo.
And Logan, as I know from recent news and media that China in the past year has just finished constructing their first aircraft carrier and is planning to build 5 or 6 more in the next 10 years, I think.
Yeah, something like that. And mind you, I think obviously with the ship-killing missile and China realizing that investing in blowing up other people's boats is a way better investment, they're still going for the aircraft carrier, which is absolutely 100% a political message. It is telling the world that China is not just defending its lake, not just defending the South China Sea, that China is looking outward, even though aircraft carriers are stupid and a waste of money and easily blown up. It is China telling the world that we are here and you will see our boats and our planes across the oceans of the world, much like America. Anything else? So we have military looking outward. This is the tiger ruling the jungle.
Logan, let's take a look into AIAB, Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. As I know that the AIAB bank in the past year or two has invested in a total of 9 projects, totaling of $1.7 billion.
Yeah, God, and the AIB is just like the start of the story. I mean, so one, China's been using this AIB as a vehicle for investing all across the region. Now, this is part of the turtle. This is where it blends in. China must keep its economy growing. It must keep its people employed. And it does this by external investments, by foreign investment. They have been laying high-speed rail lines across the entirety of the Eurasian landmass. You have high-speed rail lines that not only cover all of China, which are great, you're employing tons of people and laying rail lines, but are going across the stands, that are going across Russia, going across Persia, Iran, going all across Eurasia and ending up in Germany and Europe and London. This is employing the Chinese people, employing Chinese industry, and above all things, it is building up these countries. It is combining them, telling them that your future is with China.
Okay, with that point, Lloyd, I want to bring into Africa that I know that China has been helping Africa recently. Some say that they're investing in Africa, but I think the real question is, are they investing? But I feel like China is actually helping Africa with developing railroads and everything.
This is an interesting point. So what kind of separates Xi Jinping's policies in Africa versus what we might call a lot of European investment in Africa is that, for the longest time, okay, first off, no one is involved in Africa without getting resources. China is there 100% for getting resources. They want the natural resources of Africa, much like the European powers before them, much like everyone wants the riches of Africa. But what China is doing, like you're saying, is they are doing infrastructure developments. Before, the only time you saw a railroad in Africa was because Britain or France decided that they needed to either kill someone or get diamonds. The rough gist, you're getting oil, resources, or you have to keep people in line, so you make a railroad so you can shoot them easier. China is building railroads for resources, but they're also building factories. They're also developing farms, developing malls, developing markets. They're, as you're saying, literally developing infrastructure for these people. And that's why all these African countries, like it. They like the deals they're making with China because, yeah, they're selling resources and China's getting a good deal on that, but they are getting something out of it. Actual infrastructure development that they can utilize for their people. And there's this idea that, they're only hiring Chinese. Like we're saying, they're trying to employ Chinese people. There's a factory in Ethiopia. It's employing about 3,500 people. It's a Nike factory, maybe it's not Nike, it's a shoe factory, the point is. It's employing 90% Ethiopian. In fact, most Chinese industries in Africa are employing 80 to 90%, sometimes 99% local Africans. So this isn't just like some, kind of what we might call colonial investment. This is China hiring locals, developing local industry, developing local infrastructure in a way that will stay there for a very, very long time. And it's not like China's investing its entire economy in Africa too. They've only invested $100 billion so far in Africa. So, it's not this insane, splurge. A lot of Europeans and Americans are making it out more than what it is, and partly because we're trying to make China look bad. But all of this aside, this isn't just Africa. China's been doing this all across Asia. All across Eurasia. Like I say, we have the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. This is the five stands. We have China, Russia. They've invited Afghanistan in. You have India, Pakistan, Iran's joining. They're uniting all of Eurasia under a political economic framework. And of course, named after the city it was signed in, Shanghai.
And also we have the BRICS also.
Yes, the BRICS. That's Brazil, Russia, India, China.
And South Africa.
South Africa, yes. And of course, Russia and China, the big ones holding together. The point is, we have this internationalist framework. This is something that is not NATO, is not American-led. They're sticking it to the system in the best way they can, creating an alternative system. Even Britain has taken part in Brexit, partly to take better advantage.
Did you say Britain?
Yes, Britain. Remember the same people started the Opium War? Well, they're kowtowing to China. History is beautiful, right? So, anyhow, Britain, these guys, they are trying to take part in the New Asia Development Bank. They're trying to take part in the AIB, and they're trying to do it without having to go through the EU, which is part of the pressure for Brexit. And all of this, of course, builds up to Xi Jinping's, his grand, the real feather in his cap.
Yeah, the One Belt, One Road program.
Yes, the One Belt, One Road program, otherwise known as the New Silk Roads. It's so beautiful. It is this idea of tying through investment, through building, like in Pakistan, through laying fiber optic cables, building roads, building ports, drilling wells. It is tying the lives of hundreds of millions, billions of people economically to a prosperous China. So not only is it
adding onto that culturally too, in Pakistan before China wasn't involved in Pakistan, you wouldn't see Pakistanians eating dumplings or munching down or drinking Chinese beer.
Oh, exactly. So you have China's tying itself to the world, and this is where you get the tiger and the turtle. Through this crazy, massive, out there investment, foreign investment, you are helping the local Chinese economy, and you are helping the rest of the world tied to China. Who would want to fight China when your country's economy and well-being is tied to it being your friend and building and developing? So by ensuring prosperity and happiness and wealth for hundreds of millions of people, billions of people, China keeps itself safe, keeps itself prosperous and stable. This is the Confucian dream. This is what Xi Jinping is attempting to make with all of this. A united, successful, more or less equal Eurasia. Someone's on top always, but the point is, it is this new multipolar world, and it is the best possible world for China, and that Xi Jinping is trying to make. The one thing that must be avoided, though, is imperial overreach. Becoming America. Here we are. We waste most of our economy funding hundreds of bases throughout the world. We waste hundreds of billions. Honestly, it's like trillions of dollars spent trying to rule the world.
Or protect it.
Yeah, sorry, to protect the world. And China only has one military base in East Africa, but I think it's this issue where Xi Jinping is he doesn't send Chinese soldiers to other parts of the world. He doesn't intervene in every issue because he's trying not to fall into that trap. Keep the empire at home. Keep the people happy at home.
Or in other words, trying to make more friends instead of pissing more people off.
Exactly. This is the turtle. This is the tiger securing and protecting itself and making sure it is the king of its jungle. But simultaneously, it is staying within its shell. It is keeping the shell. It is doing everything it can externally to create internal happiness. And I think really this is the defining thing about Xi Jinping and his presidency. It's been a good run this first term for him as far as those goals are concerned. Let's see if he can continue balancing this turtle and tiger policy for the next, 5 years?
4.
4-year term?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, 4-year term. All right. Well, thank you for bearing with us on this fantastic topic. Please join us next week as we continue this discussion where we talk about Xi Jinping, the Purge. Well, stay tuned and subscribe.